Alright, good morning. Here we are for one more AB video. And this might be my last AB video. Really dragging doing this one. But, this might be the only time. I don't know how long I've been making videos since I got a good camera in 2012. Yeah, I did a couple before that, but in 2012, after my son passed away, um, I got an actual digital camera, and that's when I started making decent videos. So anyway, point is, and then I got this really good camera, so that's when my video stepped up a little bit. But point is, I've got about 500 videos on the YouTube channel. I've been working on guitars for 25 years now. Thousands of guitars. This is maybe the first time I've ever had this kind of A-B comparison. And what we have here is these are both 1970s D18s, and that's a fret rattling around in there. Don't let it bother you. This one is 312 XXX, and this one is 311. That's pretty close. 311 and 312. So that's as close in years as you're probably ever going to get with two 70s D18s. They both have the same modifications. Tuners, nut, fresh frets, neck reset, popsicle braces out, Madagascar rosewood bridge. This one has a Brazilian rosewood bridge, but that's minor. I think this is a better bridge, actually, but one minor difference. Long saddles. They both have the same black locust bridge plate. Pick guards. The big difference that we're looking at here today. This one, the customer's guitar with this pick guard on it, has tapered bracing. The shop 72 D18 has fully scalloped bracing. That is the first time I have ever been able to compare fully scalloped bracing to tapered bracing. And tapered bracing is when the bracing, we're going to look at inside on the GoPro, okay? But here's what you should look for. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to splice it in here. But here's what you look for on the video of the inside of the guitar. Tapered bracing at the X bracing starts like this and tapers down to the end. Okay? Like that. Starts up high and it has a gentle taper all the way down to the end on everything. I was not able to get the rear tone bars tapered as I really would like to get it, simply because the reason I don't do tapered bracing very much, it's hard to do. You've got to reach all the way back in there and pull that angle, that taper, evenly. It's very, very hard to do. The reason I was able to do it on this guitar is because the bracing is really soft on this guitar, and it shaved beautifully. And as I was reaching in there, I got a hold of the very end of the brace like that, and I shaved it, and it just came off in a just beautiful curl, which like almost, well, it almost never happens. And as I was going along, I said, my gosh, I'm going to be able to do a tapered bracing on this guitar. And the reason I don't do tapered bracing is I can't. It's just too difficult to do consistently. It's too difficult to reach in all the way to the back of that and have that thing just shave like that. This guitar just wanted to naturally do it. And so I said, all right, fine. You're going to be a tapered bass guitar. When I got done with it, I started playing it, and that's what we're getting ready to look at here as soon as I shut up and start playing the guitars. We're going to hear the difference between a tapered bracing and a scalloped bracing. When you look at the video of the interior, look at the differences in the bracing. The scalloped bracing comes off of the X and immediately starts shaving in, comes to a point like this, and comes out like this. So Let me play the guitars, tap on the top, because that's what you want to hear. You want to hear them. And then we'll talk about stuff some more, okay? So here we go. A, B on Tapered, and then I'm going to switch to the shop guitar, which is Scalloped, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about them, and I'm going to tell you what you should have been listening for, because you can always rewind again, and that gets me more hits. So here we go. All right, what do you notice on that? I'll tell you what I noticed right away. Every single time and I did the switching live, so I literally, picked one guitar up, put the guitar up, put that out, and I just edited that out. So I like doing that because it gives me a fresh A-B every single time. Every time I picked up the Tapered bass guitar, I was struck at how full the mid-range sounds. The bass is maybe just right on the verge of being nasally, just a little bit, but that's okay because, give it a couple of years to loosen up, and it's going to be good. But the mid-range, man, I get such a 50s vibe playing this, and actually a 40s, Where are you going to find tapered bracing is on a 45, 46, 47. In that very, very narrow range of mid-40s, and it's variable because it's not well documented. It wasn't something that is done on a consistent basis. Martin stopped scalloping guitars, and they moved to straight bracing. But evidently, some of the workmen thought that was a little too much, something, I don't know. Anyway, they went to tapered bracing, and they started tapering the bracing, and you will find that on just that narrow little range right there. And yeah, you can throw the specs out there, and you can say, oh, it happened here, here, and here. But when you get the guitars in the hand, every one of those guitars is hand braced, the bracing's hand cut, and they've got a little template and that sort of thing, but it's still hand cut. There's going to be variability in there. Just take a look at that 48 D28 that was on the channel for quite a while before I sent it home. And we were hoping that would be tapered, and it could have been tapered, but it was straight bracing. Had it been a 47 or a 46, we would have had a good chance of it being tapered bracing. But then we would have been playing around with whether or not it was an ebony truss rod or a steel truss rod. And so, gosh, there's a lot of variables in there. So that's why it's impossible. That's why this is such a rare comparison. Because during that period when there was a tapered brace guitar, it would have had a Sitka spruce top. You would not have been able to compare tapered bracing Sitka spruce top to a scalloped brace guitar until now. I mean, really, because you would have had a couple of Adirondack. You might have had, let me think about that. You might have had 1 year, one year where you might have been able to get a few tapered brace with red spruce top. 44, 45, maybe. You would have been able to get a red spruce top. Might have had tapered bracing on it. Yeah, right in that one little year. But then what scallop are you going to compare that? You'd have to compare it to the previous 41, 42, 43. You would have been able to get a scallop brace guitar right in there. But your chances of getting those two guitars together are so infinitely slim, and I've never had that opportunity, So, point of all this super, 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 super rare comparison, you would have to go back to that one particular, very short little window in order to compare head-to-head scallop and tapered. So here I have 70s, two 70s that are probably made in the same batch. They're 100 serial numbers apart here. Not 1,000. Yeah, 1,000. But so close. Very, very close. Same modifications, everything. Super rare opportunity. So that's why I did it. So when I get to this tapered bass guitar, this was new for me too. You understand, I have not had the opportunity to do that kind of thing, a head-to-head tapered and scalloped comparison. The tapered guitar really has got what I like in a guitar. I don't like a boomy sound, and I don't like I don't like the boom. I like good bass, but I like super tight, focused mid-range, and that's what this tapered bass has in spades. This particular guitar has a super good neck on it, which endears itself to me right away. This neck I actually prefer just a little bit to my Shop 72, which is the main reason I kept this guitar is because the neck on this guitar is really, really good. And it's a good sounding guitar, I'm not knocking it at all. It's a very good sounding 70s D18, and every time I pick it up, it's like this guitar just feels really good in my hands. It looks great. I did all the good modifications to it, and so I kept this guitar. But this guitar, this other one with the tapered bass, super nice neck, and I was instantly comfortable on this guitar. Let's listen to the top tap tone, because I think you're going to hear some differences there in the response of the way this thing taps back at you. And that's where you're getting your sound difference. Before I go into that, I'll tell you right away that I noticed the top on this one, even though it's tapered, does not have a belly. The Scalloped bass guitar does. It's got a little bit of a belly right there. Your typical old Martin belly, where it comes up like this and it makes a bulge right here. Well, that's because the scalloping happens right here, you see. The scalloping comes like this, comes off of the X braces, it scallops, and it comes back up into a peak and comes back again. So those peaks are about right here, and they strengthen the top of the guitar right there. They cause a stress riser right about right here. So you get a bellying that happens into this area. And on this tapered bass guitar, I'm not seeing that because it goes down like this. There's no stress riser. It's an even taper coming down. So what happens on this top, I noticed it immediately, you know. The top goes like this. It does have a rise right here, but that rise comes off like this and goes off very, very smooth, just like the taper does. No belly. It's got a rise in the top, yes, but not a belly, not a hump. It goes like this. The bridge is up here, and the whole top just drifts off like this. And you can feel it with your hand. You can feel there's no bulge right here, which I thought was interesting. That was interesting. Okay, so let's tap on the top. And I'm just saying that's one thing I noticed immediately on the tops on these guitars. This is different belly. And like I said, yes, individual guitars vary, but I have done hundreds and hundreds of these things. And I noticed right away this one had a different belly. Just tap it. I'm going to tap around the top and on the bridge. I'm going to hold the strings down here and kind of try to mute them. Listen to that tone. You hear that hollowness that I always talk about? It's a reverb. You can hear it right there. You do not hear it quite as much in the tapered bass guitar. That's where I think the tight, focused mid-range comes from. Playing this tapered bass guitar is like playing bullets. And playing this one is like playing a washy reverb sort of thing. Not that, I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but to make the point. Let's go. You can hear a lot of variability going on in there from this really deep boom that's in the middle, and it gets tied off from the side. So you get quite a variety of tones, but this boom is what gives that percussive boom effect that I don't necessarily like. It's good, you feel it in the rhythm, but when you're playing lead, that gets in the way for me. Not terrible, I could still work with it, but I prefer not to have it for playing lead. For playing rhythm, yeah, you get that pop, you get that drum effect that you can feel, but you can feel it, and you're not necessarily going to get it on the microphone. It's hard to get on a microphone. Microphone is hard to catch that feel that you get. Let's do this again. Back to this one. I hope you're catching that. Sitting here tapping on it, a lot of it's in my finger. I can feel the bounce on the top, and I can feel the resistance that I'm getting off of that might not necessarily come out in the microphone. And I guarantee that influences the way that I hear things. It influences the way you hear things when you have... God, that's what everybody talks about, isn't it? Oh, that guy's got such feel. It's the feel of the guitar that matters a lot. I'm not sure you can get it in a recording. So you have to go with my perceptions here. But I guarantee you that when I'm tapping that thing and I can feel that tactile feedback in my hands are sensitive. This guitar is tight. And another drum analogy. Not quite a snare drum, but what's the mid-size What's the mid-sized drum? I don't know my drums. The mid-sized drum that's about that big and about like that. You know, it's got a tighter response to it than a tom. You know, I think it's a tom. The big deep drum like that. You know, that's the sort of thing I'm feeling here. Somewhere between a snare drum and one of those deep drums, a tom drum. That's what I'm feeling with this thing. So it's still bassy, it's still deep, but it's tight. And consistent. That's why I'm getting the consistent sound on it. So, anyway, that's the that's a tapered bracing versus the fully scalloped braces. I would trade this guitar for the shop guitar. I would. Because it is so different. It's not that I don't like fully scalloped, but I have a fully scalloped guitar in the shop's D28 1941 Authentic. That's a fully scalloped guitar. It's got that boomy top to it. This one is unique. And that's why I went with it, you know. The owner, I've worked on 3 guitars for the owner here. They've all been in videos, D28, D35, D18. And so when I was scalloping this one and it started going along and the tapered bracing naturally, I thought, this is a chance to make this a really unique guitar that I have never been able to do before because it's so difficult getting back there in that back corner like that. And, you know, you make a jig or something. You can't get your hand in there. You know? I mean, Dana Bourgeois, Bourgeois Guitars, you know, he was critical. Fair, you know, he came across just critical in an interview, and he said, well, when you scallop them after the fact, sometimes it's just, well, you scallop what you can reach. You know? You've got a point. I mean, I will give you that point. Sometimes you scallop what you can reach, and you doesn't mean you can't make a really good sounding guitar out of what you can reach. But if I could make tapered brace D18s more often, I might. You know, I would have it as an option at least. Where now that we've heard the difference between the fully scalloped and the tapered brace, customers could say, you know, I like that tapered brace. No, I want the fully scalloped. No, I want the half X, where you only scallop the X and you leave the tone bars. You got 3 choices here where I can't guarantee you I'm going to hit this sound every single time, but we can go that direction at least. So, if I could do this consistently, predictably, I would do it. So Dana Bourgeois has a very good point there. Sometimes we scallop what we can reach. Granted. So when I was doing this and I had the opportunity to do it and I could reach it, I thought, I'm going for it. Because the customer already has scallop brace D28s and rosewood guitars, and I thought, this is a chance to make something unique. And I guarantee if he doesn't like it, I would swap this guitar for that shop guitar. I rarely said that. I would have swapped that Sunbush D18 I had a couple of videos ago. I would have swapped that one for this because it was Sunburst and it sounded really, really good. But this is a very interesting, unique sounding, different sounding D18 that has a terrific neck on it. It's got 2 1/4 inch spacing. It's got everything good on it. Madagascar Rosewood Bridge. I'm going to be quiet. Let's play this thing a little bit now. Let's throw a capo on it. Because I was playing it, and I was like, man, this thing brings out a different kind of playing because of the response that I'm getting out of it. That's what a guitar should do, you know. You should play to the guitar and listen to it and see what it'll do. So, it is. It's powerful. So. mean, he just plays. It's got a fairly low action on it. It plays unbelievably good, and I cannot believe it's great. It's responding so good. I had never done that before. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there I was just actually improvising on, and I've never done. What was that lick I did there? Yeah, I've never flattened down like that before. I know I was fooling around with the guitar the other day, and I was playing some stuff like that, and I just was amazed at how easy it was to pop notes out of there like that. And it's early in the morning, and I'm not warmed up yet. My coffee's going through me. My coffee's giving me jitters. But, golly, I mean, you can see, once again, the 2 1/4 inch spacing just makes that cross picking so nice, you know. This is a beast. This is absolutely terrific. I would have thought it would just let me have it. Yeah, I don't know. You know, you bond with some guitars, and that's the whole thing. Is you find yourself a guitar that feels good in your hand, sounds good, responds good, and it biases your flavor. You guys might not even like this guitar. You're going to say, oh, it's nasally, or oh, it's something, or oh, I like the bigger sound. But I'll tell you, in my hands, the way I think, the way I want to hear, that thing, this is a beast. This is an absolute beast. Super guitar. So, it's got to go back home someday, but not today. See ya.